Hi folks, welcome to or welcome back to Exposed, and if I'm welcoming you back and you like it here, I'd love it if you stay and subbed and join in the chat and have fun. Lots of people, shut up cars, have asked me to do this video where Lisa was interviewed on the 5-Minute Body channel. I'm looking at this picture, it doesn't look anything like her. I don't know what they've done to it. But that's obviously got a beauty filter over the top, hasn't it? Anywho, what I want to do, what I'm thinking I'll do, is cut the lady out. I don't want to be taking anything from her, just Lisa's answers, if you get me. Because I'm not having a go at this woman. This woman can do carnivore all she likes, and so can the rest of all these lovely people on here. But the reason we're going to do this is because Lisa lied. Lisa tells lies? Oh, no! She said it was all about tummy issues and all the rest of it. Why is it called not losing weight? It was never about tummy issues. That was just a side thing. She felt fat and bloated and she wanted to lose weight. She found carnivore. It helped her get skinny. End of story. Some people eat it because they do have indigestion problems and digestion problems, and it helps them. Other people do it for other reasons. But at least be honest. I started eating keto to control my blood sugars because I'm type 2 diabetic, and I read somewhere that it helped keep your numbers under control, which is great. If you are 100,000% keto all the time, your blood sugar numbers will be non-existent. It's great. It's a wonderful way. As a side thing, I lost 70 pounds, I think. And it was like, I don't weigh myself. I don't look in the mirror. I don't do any of the things that most of these women on here do daily. So one day I asked my husband, could I borrow his scales, and realised, oh, because everyone was saying, God, you're fading away. And it was like, oh, I'm the same. Nothing's changed. And that was a side thing to me getting my numbers under control. Did I go into it to lose weight? No. Was I bothered about losing weight? No. I'm stuck in a bedroom. I've been in here 12 years. Nobody sees me, bar my husband and my kids, and they love me no matter what size I am. So it was never a thing. Trying to keep it up is a thing. It's really hard, especially when I'm not cooking for myself. See, my husband, when we married, he couldn't make a sandwich and a cup of tea at the same time. It confused the fuck out of him. Like, he'd make me a sandwich and I'm like, where's my drink? Oh, you want a drink as well? Yeah. Now he has to do all the cooking. So it's very basic. And there's lots of things I could have that would keep doing keto interesting, but he's not up to doing that. And I said that to say what? Anyway. But Lisa's gone to the extreme. All she'll eat now is ribeye steak, shrimp, and eggs. That's it. No one can live their entire life like that. It's ridiculous. She's only doing that for the weight thing. She daren't eat anything else in case she puts on an ounce. She's still using ketone strips to see if she's in ketosis. Ketosis. Does that not tell you that she's doing it for the weight loss? She stopped eating butter because she saw she was putting on weight. I don't care who does what and when, but don't lie about it. Why lie? So I'm going to put this on and I'm going to try and cut out as much of that lady, I don't know her name, as I can, because it's not her I'm interested in. It's Lisa the liar. Come on, work.
You put on weight, right, Lisa?
Are we on double? No. Okay. Put it there. Right. Shall we jump in?
Butter made you put on weight, right, Lisa?
It did. It did not make me feel as clean. I would get the Kerrygold and I was putting like a big slice of it. And within, I would say, a week, I felt like, I think this is making me gain weight to eat a stick
I think this is making me gain weight. But it wasn't about the weight loss, was it?
of butter, like some say, or half a stick of butter. I think that could be.
If you're not losing weight on a carnivore diet, or maybe you're even gaining weight, perhaps you're making these 10 mistakes that keep you stuck and not losing weight. Today, I interviewed Lisa Duncan, a 5-year carnivore, and she has.
Sorry, I want to go back and look at that picture.
If you're not losing weight on a carnivore diet, or maybe you're even gaining weight, perhaps you're making these 10 mistakes that keep you stuck and not losing weight. Today,
I looked at this before I did it a couple of days ago and it was like, oh, okay, I'll do that. She paid to have her boobs done. Is it me, or has she got one huge boob and one little boob? Or is it just the angle? Because it still looks the same in the water. And her thighs there look a lot bigger than she shows them on her channel. Because this hasn't been filtered to fuckery, has it?
I interviewed Lisa Duncan, a 5-year carnivore, and she has had her ups and downs and
5 years? Has she been doing it 5 years?
still lost 34 pounds. Lisa will teach you her best weight loss tips and her mistakes so that you can get faster fat loss results. Now,
She's going to teach us what? Oh, her weight loss tips. Right. Not her how to get rid of IBS tips. Not how to not feel bloated tips. No, it's how to lose weight. Did she think people from her channel wouldn't watch this channel or something?
Now, if all this is a little bit too confusing and you need some guidance, I have created the ultimate 4-week fat loss course, which will teach you how much protein and how much fat you need to eat and how to build the perfect carnivore meal. There is a link in the description with 20% off just for you. Lisa, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you have had extraordinary results on a carnivore diet and you've lost 34 pounds. But some people don't exactly have the same experience. They're either in a weight loss plateau or they're even gaining weight on a carnivore diet. So today, Lisa and I are going to talk about the 10 tips for you guys watching to break a weight loss plateau and start losing weight. But first, Lisa, I wanted to ask you, what made you...
I wanted to cut her out altogether. But then I'm thinking if I do that, it'll make no sense. But you can quite clearly hear her say, weight loss, weight loss, weight loss, weight loss, weight loss, weight loss, weight loss. What did she... Oh, it wasn't about the weight. I just felt icky. I had tummy troubles. I thought it was getting down into the car. What was that all about? My hips were terrible. Blah, 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 blah. But now it's all about... We knew what it was about from the beginning. Little Miss Vanity, we know exactly why you went on a carnivore diet and why you don't eat bugger all.
you get serious about starting a carnivore diet?
Okay, good question. Because there are so many different ways to come to the carnivore diet. And what led me here is not really weight loss or a lot of the things, or even to really get healthy, a lot of the things that other people come to the carnivore diet for. Mine was gut issues. I was having severe gut issues. It was getting to the point where it was definitely impacting my life. So I was trying all of the different diets that you hear, whole grain, just trying.
When was it impacting her life? Or is she going to turn it round and do the, well, I don't show you everything. But it was never mentioned, ever.
Trying to eat salads. I was also dealing with aging and menopause and hormone fluctuations. Going to doctors, I had just extreme swelling, extreme stomach pain, and discomfort, just a lot of the symptoms that you'll hear with menopause. though I would go to the doctor and they would test my hormones and they said that's not what it was. I had many tests like scans to make sure it wasn't cystic or anything like that. And finally, when
Cystic what?
the doctor handed me the FODMAP diet sheet and said that maybe I needed to start learning about FODMAPs, that at least gave me a direction to kind of look down. And all of this time, I was kind of sharing with my audience my issues, my gut issues, not being able to sleep, just different things. And one of my subscribers said that her husband had a lot of my same issues, and his doctor told him to just try eating meat only. And the first time I read that, I thought, that's weird or that's gross, which is which is weird because I love meat and I always have. But when you are just told over and over and over again to eat salads, whole grains, I was trying all of those different things that you're supposed to for relief, exercise, just trying everything I could. And
I was trying everything I could. Exercise. When were you exercising? You said you hated exercise. You don't like sweating. So when in between you telling us that, were you actually exercising?
I was getting no relief. I felt like when I ate vegetables, it just made my body just want to just get rid of it immediately. And I was thinking, what's going on? So I typed in allergic to vegetables, and the first person I saw was Sally Norton. I think she's the first one that I had ever heard about oxalates or lectins, and then Dr. Gundry, and then Michaela Peterson and Jordan Peterson. I believe they were on Joe Rogan. So those were my first initial videos that I watched, and I thought,
Can I just say, she sounds a lot more intelligent here than she does on her videos, does she not? Does that not tell you anything? All those of you that have bought the sweet southern lady bollocks, it's all an act. The dumb blonde, it's all an act.
oh my gosh, this is how I feel. This may be something. So that's what introduced me to it. But even at that point, I wasn't planning on being on the carnivore diet. I was planning on doing the elimination diet and then adding in one thing at a time to see how my body reacted. And that is what I did for the first, I would say, at least a month, if not longer. I would try to add in avocado. I would try to add in green beans, just kind of, I knew not to try for spinach or Brussels sprouts. I was just trying to add in these things just to see.
What's wrong with Brussels sprouts? I live on Brussels sprouts. Should I not be eating them?
And every time usually within 24 to 48 hours, you can tell what is bothering your gut.
So you added in avocados and the vegetables. How did you feel after adding in just even, because avocados are healthy. People think that they're good fats and fiber and all that. How did you feel when you're eating meat and then just adding in the avocados, the other vegetables? What were the symptoms so that people can know that the vegetables, they're not good for us?
Well, and I was
Is she going to say that vegetables are not good for us? You can't have that as a blanket statement. Vegetables are not good for you. And I dare say you haven't eaten all vegetables, so you can't just say vegetables are bad.
very strict about if I had the avocado, which I don't even like avocado, but I was making myself eat the avocado just because it's good for you. I would eat that and I would not eat anything else. And I would eat it again the next day and again the next day. And it usually takes about 2 days of eating something before I will have stomach cramping and just gut issues, IBS, issues like that, very bloated, swollen, which when I went to the gastroenterologist, which was something else I had gone through, and I had gotten a full colonoscopy, he said that actually what happens when you eat something that upsets your gut like that, your body sends a lot of fluid to kind of wash it out. And that's why I always felt like I literally had something in my stomach. Like I could almost, like when I was bending over to tie my shoes or something, it just felt unnatural. It felt, I really felt like I did when I was pregnant and had a lot of swelling. I could recognize those feelings even around my ankles. I could tell that I was swollen. My legs, when I would shave my legs in the shower, they were almost numb. I could just really tell I was swollen. So I knew that something was wrong. Something was happening. And that's why I was going from doctor to doctor to doctor and ended up.
You're lucky that you can go from doctor to doctor to doctor. We don't have that here. You go to your GP and he says, shut up, there's nothing wrong with you. That's it, you're stuck. You can't go anywhere or do anything or find anything. Like, I've had people in the past saying to me, oh, go and ask for this test. Go and have a blood test to look for this. Go. If I walked in and said to my GP, I need a blood test for, he'd say, when did you pass your doctor's exams?
I would say the FODMAP diet and then going to the gastroenterologist helped me the most.
So when it comes to the weight loss, because I know that wasn't your first goal, unlike many people, they come to Carnivore because they want to lose weight, they want to heal, they want all of these good stuff. Were you surprised that you were starting to lose weight?
Not really, because
She
I
wasn't
was
eating
already
anything.
a fan of low carb. That is what I had always used in the past. I remember after I had my daughter, Brooke, who's 23, I remember Atkins was popular back then, and I had done the Atkins diet. But when you're younger, you can do the Atkins diet and eat chicken tenders just with no fries. You can do such a, you know what I mean? You don't have to be as, I could, every morning I ate an apple on the Atkins diet. I just cut down. I didn't eat sweets, other carbs, noodles, potatoes, French fries, things like that. And I had great, great success. And I had always done that up until, when you hit, perimenopause and menopause, things like that don't work for you. Your metabolism slows down and it's just natural. So weight loss was a concern, but it wasn't ruining my life. You know what I mean? Like, whereas the gut issues were making it where I didn't want to travel. I felt very depressed. I,
When do you travel exactly?
it just was really taking a toll on my life. And it was just making me feel like something was really wrong. I was worried, did I have cancer? What was going on? So I would say that's it. But the weight loss was a great benefit. And I couldn't believe how much I lost immediately. I think within the first week or 10 days, I think I lost 6 pounds. And I felt within a week, I felt so much better. I I just remember thinking I'm going to be okay. Even mentally, I felt like I have finally found something that gives me.
Do you remember she said, I phoned up my mama and I said, it's okay, mama, I'm gonna be okay. Really?
Just a little bit of relief. And to this day, I panic if I think about having to stop eating this way, because it's so satisfying and I feel so good that I never want to stop. I was surprised more with losing my joint pain, like feeling so much clearer head mentally. I had no idea what food.
Okay, so you're telling me that going carnivore, you've now got no joint pain and you're clear headed. Right, maybe I should try this for a month and see. Only problem being, I don't know if I can afford to buy that much meat. And I've found that boiled eggs, or eggs in general, I love eggs, but every time I eat an egg now, I get cramp and IBS. So eggs are out. So what does that leave me? I wonder if I should try it though. Because that's the only thing I haven't done is carnivore. Who was it? Somebody left a comment and said, why don't you research it and do something about it and clear it up? If there was a cure, do you not think we'd know? And do you not think I've tried everything possible?
Food just did to your entire body. So that was my biggest surprise. I couldn't believe it. I felt like the whole time I felt like this is too good to be true.
And that's what I love about you is that Lisa has a big why. And when it comes to your why when starting carnivore, weight loss is a good why, but it's not strong enough to make you
No,
stick because
I 100% I would have cheated by now. There is no way I would have gone through holidays, birthday parties, traveling, all those things. There's no way I would have made it because before, what I would have done is I would have been really strict and I would have given myself one cheat day or one cheat meal. I wouldn't have wanted to make someone feel uncomfortable. I wouldn't have wanted to not be eating my family's food when I went to Christmas dinner. I would have, not even knowing, I would have made excuses. When you know that it's going to be very painful and how much better, not only they say a lot of times, negative things influence you more than positive things. And in a lot of ways, I think that's true. I think the negative influences me heavier than the positive. And the weight, I did want to lose weight, but I didn't want to lose as much as I did. Because when you're
Oh, what? Don't talk wet. You want to lose more. Why else are you using ketone strips? Why do you want to stay in ketosis? To lose weight. Fuck's sake.
aging, I know that I look better, my face and everything looks better with a little bit of weight. I just kind of let my body just naturally settle. So weight is definitely a bonus, but it was not the strongest factor at all.
well, you look absolutely beautiful, by the way. Can you
Thank you.
tell us how old you are? Because I was surprised how old you are because you don't look your
Oh,
age.
thank you. Thank you. I'm 52.
52. You see,
Yes.
carnivore, 52, the magic of anti-aging, even on a carnivore diet.
Amazing.
It's a miracle. I think the only thing is,
Carnivore diet is anti-aging. Ask her about all the procedures and the fillers she's had. It's got nothing to do with carnivore. Her face looked like that before she started carnivore. Load of bollocks. I'm sorry.
just sticking with it long term through your travel, through your holidays and everything, eating the meat, eating the fatty meat. And I know that with your weight loss journey, it's been down, then it was like this, and then it was
Mhm.
down, and then it was a bit. So it's a bit up and down. And I think that many people go through the similar struggle. Let's get to the 10 tips for people to break a weight loss stall because I know everybody wants to know about that. What would be your
Great.
first tip or something that you have used to break a weight loss stall?
I would say intermittent fasting would be my number one. And
So you do carnivore and intermittent fasting to make sure that you're still losing weight when weight was never an issue. Okay.
when I first began eating like this, I even advise, don't worry about that in the beginning. In the beginning, you just need to get settled on what foods satisfy you, what foods, if you're in my case, what foods don't upset your stomach. I found myself eating things like sauerkraut or cabbage, different things just to make like my mom happy because she felt like I needed that. And I would eat that on Sunday night and it would take me till Wednesday to feel better. It just takes a while in the beginning to get settled on what you want to eat. How strict do you need to be? Because there are some people that can still eat chicken salad or deviled eggs or, things like that. And I did try those things in the beginning and it did help me. I was feeling better and better on those things. But then as you refine what you like to eat, I feel like it naturally happens that when you wake up, you're not hungry. You're still full from the night before when you eat a really good satiating meal the night before. So what the first thing I cut out was breakfast For a while, I was still trying to eat sandwich meat. I would just take sandwich meat and cheese and do ham and cheese roll ups, just to get me through. But most of the time, I've just skipped breakfast. Now, another thing, and so we'll go on to the next thing. Tip number 2 would be asking yourself, are you eating too much cheese or dairy or condiments? Because I have been guilty of that, of just thinking, well, it's cheese, and not looking into what kind of cheese it is and having too much. I can't remember if it was Dr. Berry, one of the doctors that I listened to said, think of cheese like a dessert. Like that's something that you just have a little bit of. It's kind of like a treat. Don't think of it as part of your meal. In the beginning, I would, if I was hungry.
But it's got nothing to do with weight loss. Are you keeping up? Okay.
I would eat a piece of cheese. But now I think twice. And I think if you've hit a weight loss stall, that is something to think about. If you've been snacking on cheese, especially just like, white American or just American cheese, think about you're supposed to eat harder, more purified cheeses, or even sprinkle the cheese on instead of having a whole slice. So that's something that I would watch too, is just your cheese, your dairy, your condiments, things like that, and butter.
We spoke about butter at the start. Butter made you put on weight, right, Lisa?
It did. It did not make me feel as clean.
No. Butter made you put on weight, didn't it, Lisa? Yeah, it did. It did. Yeah, it did. Oh, but...
And healthy. Like carnivore makes you feel so clean and healthy, like you don't have anything bad in your body, and your body just feels so happy with what you're feeding it. But when I tried to add in extra butter, now I already will put butter to cook like maybe an omelet, or my mom will put butter on a steak before she grills it. But I watched a few videos and thought, well, maybe if I add in more butter, that I will feel better. And when I did, it made...
Why do you need to add in more butter when you said this was a miracle? You were feeling amazing. Why did you need to tweak it anymore by adding anything or taking anything away?
my stomach feel a little upset. I realized I couldn't eat the cold butter. And I read that a lot of people don't tolerate the unmelted butter as well as they do the melted butter. So that made sense to me. I would get the Kerrygold, and I was putting like a big slice of it on my plate, and I was trying to eat that instead of ketchup or anything else with my steak. And so I would kind of get a little bit of each. And within, I would say, a week, I felt like, I think this is making me gain weight. I felt a little bit...
I think this is making me gain weight. Gain weight. Wait. I haven't heard you put the gut issues above the weight. It's all, oh, I didn't do it to lose weight. No, of course you didn't.
Bigger in the middle, and just could tell I just didn't feel good all the way around. So I think a little bit of butter is fine, but I think to eat a stick of butter, like some say, or half a stick of butter, I think that could be, you could sabotage yourself with that in many ways.
Yep, I totally agree. I'd love to know from everyone watching, Lisa and I, have you tried the stick of butter a day? What was your thoughts? Because Lisa and I have our thoughts on eating a stick of butter. And it's right, like just having the normal amount, which is I cook some eggs, I put some butter in, I have a steak. I just think it's a bit dry, so I add a little bit of butter. Be your third tip to break a weight loss stall.
This is something that may or not be popular, but I still use the keto strips in the morning to make sure I'm in ketosis. And depending on what I've been eating, I can tell, am I just lightly in ketosis, or am I in, moderate ketosis?
Why do you need to be in ketosis, Lisa? Huh? Why? Because you want to lose more weight so that you can get shorter crop tops and have low-rise things and just show your midriff off. Nothing wrong with that. But be fucking honest.
And that kind of serves as a guide as far as what did I eat the day before. I noticed that I'll be, the stronger ketosis reading if I've just had one meal the day before, maybe if I did OMAD the day before, or
Obviously. Because your fucking body's eating itself because it hasn't got anything else to power it.
if I eat maybe too much cheese or something, I can tell that it's a lighter ketosis. So it's just a guide to me. And a lot of times when people will DM me and ask me, I've been on carnivore for a week and I haven't lost any weight, that's the first thing I'll ask them is, are you using the ketosis strips? Because that will tell you if your body is burning fat. I will be darker, almost in the heavy, if I just have the one meal the day before. I just notice a big difference. And it's just interesting.
Yeah, if I don't eat anything, I lose more weight. Who knew?
It just shows you how much every little thing that you eat affects you.
And that's what Dr. Berg says, that the more times that you eat, the more times that your insulin can increase, and then it can affect your fat loss as well. And I think that's, even if it's like a boiled egg or something small, every time that you're eating something, you have to think, oh, my insulin's going to increase a little bit because it has to digest the food, even if it's protein and fat, even if it's carnivore approved. So I think that when you go into deeper ketosis, you have a more stable energy, better clarity, better sleep, better fat loss. This is the thing with carnivore. There's so many different ways of doing it. No
That's
one
the
person.
beauty.
It's beautiful. And it's about sharing what's working for Lisa, what's working for me, and then what's going to work for everyone watching, because that's about being in a group, is that everybody has a different way of doing something. But overall, we're doing the same thing, embracing the change, embracing the differences, and thinking, okay, should I test? Should I not test? Is it right for me? So what is your number 4 tip?
4 is I weigh myself every day. First thing in the morning, I weigh myself.
Why do you weigh yourself every day? Why? Does that tell you if you're going to have IBS that day? Is there a new thing on a weighing scales that pops up that says, ooh, don't eat today, you'll be sick? You weigh yourself because you don't want to put on weight. But the weight was never important, was it? It's the lies. Lie, lie, lie. And people are saying, you're a bully. I'm just pointing out. She lies to you and you drink it all up. Oh, Lisa's so sweet and so honest. No! She didn't do fucking carnivore for her health. She did it for her weight.
And that's just my way of keeping track of, what I'm eating and how it's affecting my body. And I feel like it's just encouragement. I don't do it for any, I don't know. I don't feel like I'm obsessed with it.
Oh, you don't feel like you're obsessed with it, but you're doing it daily. You're bringing your weighing scales from home when you go to your Like to Know It conference. You couldn't possibly leave it at home and just enjoy the few days away from home. No. Got to do that weigh-in every morning. And what happens if you're a pound or 2 pound heavier? Then what? Do you not eat that day? Tell the truth! For fuck's sake.
I know in the beginning I was, because it was part of what kept me going. I just loved seeing, some days it might go up a little bit, some days it might, and then it would come like way down. I just enjoyed, it was part of the fun of it. And that's what I always think when you are doing something like this, you have to find little ways to keep yourself motivated. And we're all different. And I just don't think that weighing yourself is a bad thing in this case, unless you are, obsessive over it.
You are, though. We all know anything you do to the extreme. You obsess over fucking everything. Oh, I'm not obsessing over it, no. So why did you have to take your weighing scales from home away with you then? Why? Why could you not go 3 days without weighing yourself? Is that not obsessed? Or do I not know what obsessed means?
but it hasn't ever bothered me. If anything, it's always kept me inspired. Now, there have been times that I have gone where I was just in the winter, it's hard because I take everything off to weigh in the morning and it's cold and I don't want to do it. So I have gone a while without doing it. And my scale also has an app and it keeps track of like your body fat, different things like that, your bone mass. And so I just enjoy.
I've never understood how a weighing scales can do that. You stand on a scale, it weighs what's been put on it. How can it then differentiate between bone mass and body fat and all the rest of it? Can someone explain to me how that works? Because I don't understand. It's like you can't put a pile of butter in a kitchen weighing thing, can you? And it says, oh, that's 100% fat. So how can it do it with your body? I don't understand.
It's just part of my health. I feel like I just enjoy knowing everything. And I just feel like the
I'm a little bit obsessed. Oh, no, I'm not obsessed.
information is power in with the keto strips and with the weight.
Absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with, I think, with weighing yourself every day if it's very positive point of view, because it's not like you're weighing yourself and your whole day is wrecked if your weight has increased. It's a piece.
How do you know? Have you met Lisa? Maybe you can weigh yourself and have put on weight and your day's not wrecked. I can guarantee you if Lisa gets on the scales and she's put on weight, whoa, don't go anywhere near her for the rest of the day.
Of information to understand, oh, that's interesting. Why did it go up? What did I eat the day before? Why did it go down? And it gives you the encouragement and the progress. It could be tracking how your pants are feeling. It could be tracking something else. But I think it's a great tip. I weigh myself every day.
Sometimes I'll get a negative response to that because I know if you do
Yeah.
have an eating disorder, or it might not be healthy for everyone, but it really helps me. I've always been someone who I write it down every day, and I'm amazed sometimes that I will weigh the exact same amount for 4, 5, 6 days, and then it'll
Why are you amazed when you're eating exactly the same food for the 4, 5, 6 days?
either go up a little bit or come down a little bit, but it pretty much steady stays the same, which I think is such a good sign.
And the great thing about maybe weighing yourself every day or every other day is that
Yes.
sometimes that you think that you're in a weight loss stall and you think, I haven't lost weight for a week or 2 weeks or even 3 weeks, but maybe it's shorter or longer. And you don't know unless you actually write down the number.
Why do you need to write it down unless you're obsessing about your weight? I thought this was all about health. I'm not doing it for the weight loss. So, and if you haven't lost anything for 3 weeks, maybe you don't need to lose any more. You will reach a point where your body's like, whoop, we're done.
Or even tracking your muscle mass and your body fat so that,
Yes.
am I increasing muscle mass? Oh, I did exercise. Fantastic. My muscles are increasing. My body fat is decreasing. Therefore, my weight stays the same. That's
Yes.
still a good sign that I'm making progress. So I think that's great. I love that tip.
Okay.
Tip number 5.
Let's see if
Okay.
this, and I'm approaching this as if someone were asking me, and I would ask them, what meats are they eating? Because I've heard you say, I think it was you that said rotisserie chickens. Was it you that said, or you were interviewing someone that said
Lily.
rotisserie chickens?
Yeah.
Yes. And I have noticed this in the grocery store. I went to go get some sandwich meat and I stood there. I mean, of course, not to get honey ham, but even if you look at, and this was like Boar's Head, very mainstream brand. Even if you will look at like their tavern ham or their boiled ham, baked ham, it would have so many ingredients. And sometimes even, dextrose, sucralose, different sweeteners. I think the only one I could find was the roast beef that just had the roast beef, water, and salt. So you have to be really careful with what you're eating. And a lot of people will come at me because I eat McDonald's burgers. And I don't think that they're probably the healthiest thing that I should eat, but I do think that they're beef, and you have to find ways to do this. And I work at home, and I just don't want to be home all day every day. So sometimes just going to get those burgers helps me just break up my day, and I just haven't seen any adverse effects from that. But I do think there are other places you could go that their beef isn't as pure. I'm thinking of Dr. Barry because he said that he found out that McDonald's was the 100% Angus beef, and I do even within McDonald's, I think there are other burgers that aren't as good. And then, like, even going to Chick-fil-A, and if you were to just get the chicken tender bites, even the baked ones, sometimes in a crunch, I might have to do that. But you know that there is something else in there besides chicken.
Yeah, so maybe you could rotisserie your own chicken at home. You could roast your own beef at home. You don't need to go out and buy shite. If you want to break the day up, go out for a walk. Go out and do something else. Put a packed lunch together and go and have a picnic somewhere. You can buy whatever you want to buy, whenever you want to buy it. You can buy the highest grade meat. You could go to a farmer, buy it in bulk, have it in a chest freezer in the garage. No, I'd rather go to McDonald's, whatever.
And that those chicken breast tenders don't keep you full like a something with burger or more fat in it. So that's another thing that I would say is there sugar in their processed meats? What meat are they eating? I ask them, even if they're eating steaks, are they eating just really lean steaks with no fat? Because you need that fat for your body. And if your body doesn't get that, then it might hold on to other fats, and it doesn't keep you full. Like a ribeye. Ribeyes are my favorite steaks because they're just balanced and they taste so good. So ribeyes are my favorite. So those are the things I ask about the meats that they're eating. I just try to make sure they're not eating something that's really high in sodium.
But what about people that can't afford to buy ribeyes every day? Then what? What do they do?
It might have the hidden sugars. I think and I have to do this all the time when I travel, I'll have to eat out at a restaurant, and it probably has MSG or something like that in it, but I'm just doing the best that I can at the time. It isn't something that I would do if I had a choice, but you just have to be somewhat adaptive. But if you're in the beginning of it and you're trying to lose weight, you're in a testing period, and that's the time to find
If you're at the start of it and you're trying to lose weight, I thought the start of it was the gut issues, but no, am I wrong? Okay.
out what is in my hot dog, what is in, oh gosh, and the keto foods. I think that really tricks people, and the bars and the shakes and the water mixes and all of that stuff. All of those things can have hidden. And the like, you'll go to the grocery store and they'll have olive oil mayonnaise, but it's really not. It's just a part olive oil.
The
So
same
just
with
things like that.
sardines. Sardines is the same thing. I was smiling because when you said the McDonald's, in Australia, we call it Macca's. So I'm not going to say Macca's burger. Macca's burger, with the McDonald's burger, I love it as well. Like sometimes it's kind of a quick treat that if I'm at the
Yes.
airport and it's fine. I see you do on your YouTube that you show I'm eating two quarter pounder patties and you used to have the cheese and then you took off the cheese because that's your little progression that you're making.
Look at that stupid face she pulls. Oh no, I'm going to use the other one. Sorry. I was going to make a thing, but I'm going to use that other one because it looks nothing like her.
You used to
Yes.
have ketchup and then you took it away. So you do the best that you can do.
Oh,
I think
Ketchup's got sugar in it. Everyone knows that.
it's fantastic.
I started with bacon too. When I first started, I would get the bacon, the cheese, the ketchup, and the two burgers. So I realized I didn't need the bacon. Then I realized I didn't need the ketchup. And then I went down to one piece of cheese. And now I'll get it. It just depends on how hungry I am that day, because the cheese it does help. It's not even that it's even more satisfying, because I just get salt and I can eat the burger, but it keeps me full longer. So it depends on, I try to just think about my whole day. What time am I going to be able to eat dinner? And if I know it's going to be later, or, something's going to be off schedule, then I might have the cheese just to make sure I stay full. But if I know dinner's on schedule, everything, then I can just eat the two. I've even tried to get the three patties, thinking that I would miss the cheese so much I would need three patties, and I don't. I'll just get the two patties. And, people think that that's gross, but if you were eating a quarter pound, a double quarter pounder, you'd be eating those anyway. You're just getting rid of the bad stuff. And like, if you think about your plate, think about the classic plate of a steak with potatoes and asparagus, you would still be eating the steak. I'm just not eating the other things. I think it's a lot of
You're so
mental.
sweet. Like, I think everything you're doing is so good. I'm just thinking, it's
I
almost like
just
you
try.
feel.
She's so sweet. Don't let her fool you. What is your name? Doesn't say, does it? I think you're sweet.
Why
I
do you
try to
feel
figure out
bad?
ways to do it, to keep,
Yeah.
it's like it's a game, and it's to keep up with it. You just really have to modify it, just like you've done. You've modified it to your style.
Yeah. What is tip number 6 to break a weight loss store?
Good sleep, to make sure you are getting good sleep. I never realized how important sleep is for everything. But it was a video I watched by Dr. Berg in the beginning. And I was just so curious, like, physically, like chemically, how do you lose weight? Like, is it all flushed out of our system, or how do we lose weight? And in that video, he was talking about how important sleep is, because a lot of times that is when our body metabolizes what it wants to get rid of, and you actually like exhale some of it. Of course, you get rid of it other ways.
Oh, for God's sake, Lisa, you're 52. Can you not say toilet?
And he was just saying, and if you aren't sleeping, it increases your cortisol, which is a stress hormone, which causes you to hold on to weight. So I really started valuing my sleep and making sure I made it a priority. And that, I think, just really helps. It helps in every way, every way.
I agree. When I don't sleep, I'll probably know that I will eat more fat the next day. And I let myself eat more fat the next day because I need it. And I'll try to have naps.
It's funny. I used to have naps every day, but as soon as I started carnivore, I don't need naps anymore.
Okay, what is tip number 7?
Eating out, and the ingredients that are hidden just in.
But you stopped eating out, didn't you? You started eating out because you didn't like cooking for the family, because they didn't like your cooking. And everybody wanted something different, and you got irate. So then you ate out all the time so everybody could have whatever it was they wanted. But then once you started carnivore, it was all about you, and nobody was going out because you couldn't eat anything out.
Eggs, like, when I go out of town, I usually try to find a place that at least serves omelets. And so many times I will just order an omelet with bacon on the side, and as soon as they put the plate down and the omelet's like that thick, I can tell that they've put something else. They've put pancake batter. Yes, I think it was Waffle House was one of the first places that I went. And when they set the egg down, I looked at it and it was like, it didn't look like any eggs that I had cooked. And they said, yes, they put a little bit of batter in there to thicken the egg. And at that point, I was still trying my hardest to go out to eat with my family, and it's hard. It's hard you have to really be careful what's in your eggs. Did they put whipping cream? Because they want it to be big and beautiful. And
Here's a tip. eat before you go out and go out and socialise with your family while they're eating. There's a thing.
Pretty. And I noticed when I went out of town to a hotel, they did the same thing. They put whipping cream in their eggs to make them lighter and fluffier. And it's not good. It doesn't make them taste any better. It makes them taste less. They're just whipped nothing. So I would be very careful when you're going out to eat. And the MSG, different things that I don't know a lot about, but I do know that they put sugar in everything. So different things, just be really careful eating out and just try to strip it down to the basics.
Also, I find if I go out to eat burger patties and you want to add some mustard, because sometimes I want to have some nice mustard. Do you know they put sugar in that?
Ketchup is the worst. I try to get the natural, no sugar added. It doesn't taste as good. And that's one of my things. That's on my list is one of the things to cut out. I'm going to make it to there. But like I said, I think everyone has to find ways to make it your style, to make carnivore your style and something that you can do and you don't feel like you're missing out. So that's part of the reason I still eat ketchup. There was a lady on YouTube that does carnivore and she's in Hawaii. You brown butter and then you put a stick of cream cheese in it. And then she put truffle seasoning and my mom put garlic seasoning in mine, garlic salt. And I've been eating that with my
Wow.
steak.
That's another tip, which is sauces or
I don't notice you having told anybody that on your channel.
anything that you put on. I'm sure that, like with the sauce that you just mentioned, I'm sure that you don't put loads of it because you just think, oh, this is healthy and it's carnivore. I'm sure it's portion controlled. Is that right?
Yes, I don't just put it out beside me while I'm eating. I get just a little bit out and I put it on a plate and I actually melt it just like you would butter. And I let it kind of spread thin, really thin on the plate so that I just dab my steak in it just for a little taste. And that's another thing when I go out to eat, when I'm away, they may bring like a little aioli or something on the side. I want it because it's so good, but I just dab in it a little bit because I'm also afraid of my gut issues. Could there be something in there just as simple
Sod off. It's all about the weight. We know that. You've said.
as one day I went to Starbucks and I got a peach. I think it was this was in the beginning too, when I was still testing things out, trying to find different treats and everything. And it was a peach green tea. Ooh, I don't know what was in it. I don't know if I'm allergic to peaches, but it taught me a lesson. So different things like that. And when you have an allergic reaction to oxalates and all of those things, that can also stall your weight loss because you're holding on to that fluid. Your body is trying to flush out and you're holding on to that fluid. So
Also, if you have a
that's,
cheat meal as well, if you just have something, your body's gonna, it takes a week.
it
Takes a
does.
week. Nobody
Yeah, I
talks about
watched.
this.
Do you watch Steve Eckert where he did that? He's an Olympian athlete and he ate junk food for a week just to test what it did. And then he went to beef, butter, and eggs to lose it. And it's fascinating how much he put on, how long it took to lose it. But it's just fascinating. Like within a week, I think he gained almost 20 pounds in a week. It was amazing. But if you're eating eggs and grains and all of those things, it takes so long to be digested and then they hold on to fluid. I just think of them like kind of like a sponge in your body, just holding on to everything.
Especially when you don't have carbohydrates and you go back to having it. It's like an extra sponge. It just wants to suck everything in and then for days. And anyway, it makes it, and that's the reason why I would not go back because it's not worth it. It's not worth it to feel terrible. It's not worth it to feel depressed and acne and bloated and sad and all these different things. And for you, it'd be the gut issues. So I think even imagining if I'm going to have this, how am I going to feel the next day? I'm not going to feel that fantastic. So do I want to? And it's really 5 minutes. It's 5 minutes of pleasure
Oh,
for a week, and that's what I think.
I know. And the more you learn about your gut brain connection and what happens when you eat something sweet and what it tells your brain, and that's why you want more. And just learning about, is it ghrelin, the
Yep,
hunger
ghrelin is your
hormone?
hunger hormone.
I think the more you learn, that is a big tip that I would give. The more you learn about how things affect your body, like your brain and the hunger signals, the more you learn about that, the less you'll cheat because you really realize you don't want to take that step back. I've heard that this is a thing, and I've heard that alcoholics do this too, but I have had nightmares where I forgot that I was on carnivore and I would eat like cookies or something. And it's a true nightmare. And I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so glad that wasn't true. You know?
Yep.
Wow.
Because just all the benefits, the joint pain, just the brain clarity, the sleeping, it changed my life in so many ways. I never want to go back.
What is tip number 8 to break our weight loss stalls?
One of the things I would ask is about wine or alcohol, because I think a lot of people, they really stick to the rules. And then at night, they have their glass of wine or their margaritas or their drinks. And I don't think that in the whole scheme of things, if you don't have gut issues, if you're doing carnivore just to improve some things, it's not that I think a glass of wine or a drink is bad, because I think if you're doing it just to better your health and you don't have other issues, then I think that that's good to be able to have a glass of wine. But if it's a daily thing or a nightly thing, or you're having more than one or two, I think that it's pretty obvious that that's going to have an effect on your insulin, and you're just not going to get the full benefits, especially wine. I know, I think I've heard that alcohol, if you have something like gin or vodka with just soda, that would be probably like the least insulin reactive drink to have. But I am fortunate because I don't like to drink. So that was something that I did not have to give up. It was, it's a very fortunate thing that that was a part of my life that I didn't have to give up, because I do know that it's a social thing, it's an event, it's something that people do to relax, to bond, it's even in business. So, I'm lucky that that wasn't one of the things that I had to deal with.
Well, I was the same as you. I've never drank alcohol, wine, or anything. And it's interesting. I was talking to a friend about going carnivore, and I have a carnivore channel, and I'm carnivore. All these things. Oh, that's great! Fatty meat, eggs, bacon, da 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 da. Great, fantastic. Can I have wine? Well, wine comes from grapes. Oh, but I love wine. Well, then, sorry, maybe you can't do carnivore because, people are so addicted to what they're addicted to. And if there's wine lovers out there, sorry, but I don't understand. I think it's like coffee. Do you know
Yeah.
if you love coffee? I'm a lover of coffee. I know that you don't drink coffee, right?
No, but I can relate with my Diet Coke.
Yeah, if you love it, it's a taste. So if you have Diet Pepsi or Diet Coke, you can tell a difference.
Oh, definitely. I don't like Diet Pepsi.
Yeah. But I'm sure it's going to be for wine drinkers that they have this variation in the taste and the aroma
Oh,
and all. And it's
yes.
like a sport. And I think that keeps them addicted to what they love. So,
I understand completely. I understand it. And that's why a lot of times when I'm making a carnivore video or texting back with someone, I almost have a little bit of sad feeling that maybe they shouldn't. I don't want to take away something that someone loves. I don't want to take away that experience. I realize even eating good food is such a bonding experience, and it is a big adjustment. It really is. I just try to emphasize the good things. And like we've said, find your style, your way of doing your carnivore. I think like I've heard said many times, there's a spectrum of, like Dr. Berry says, Fritos to grass fed beef. And you just have to find your place on that spectrum. And if you can have a glass of wine and it doesn't affect you, then I say go for it. But you have to just know, that's the thing. Education is the key. You have to know what it's doing to you. And that's why, when I drink Diet Coke, I don't think it's raising my insulin because I'm always in ketosis. And it hasn't ever affected my weight loss. And when I was on my journey to find out what was upsetting my stomach, that's one of the first things I gave up was diet drinks, because I wanted to see if that was it, and it wasn't. So I think you just need to educate yourself down to the littlest thing to find out how your body reacts to it.
What is tip number 9? Second to the last tip.
I would say fruit or honey, or a lot of the things that it's it's one of those things that I think some people like. Is it Paul Saladino that
Mm.
has made the fruit and honey kind of come back into the conversation? And I just feel like it might be, it's such a tease, and it may sabotage a lot of people, because when you listen to him, he kind of justifies it. And you feel like it's natural, it's made by an animal, all of those things. But I do think that it's going to raise your insulin. And just like I was telling
Oh, honey is. I was just thinking, what fruit is made by an animal? Cow over in the corner making grapes. Ignore me.
you, the guy that I watch, I think it's so interesting. I would almost love to have one of those things in my arm just to see how
The
my blood sugar
glucose meter,
reacted.
yeah.
Yes. When he did berries, I
Oh, you want to be diabetic, do you? No, you don't. Shut the fuck up, moron.
I remember him doing several different kinds of fruit. I remember grapes. 2 hours later, his blood sugar was really high. And then he did a red apple, and it went up really high. And then someone told him to try a green apple, and the green apple went up, but not as high. You can taste sugar in your food. So you know that if the red apple is sweeter, it's probably going to have more, even natural sugar. And that's hard for people to understand, how something natural can harm them or cause them to gain weight. So I think that can sabotage people. And going back to that guy, he did raspberries, and it was very minimal. So if you have to eat fruit, make sure you're aware of what it's doing, and make sure you're aware. I know when I first started, I tried to eat blueberries, and then they tell you, oh, just a little handful of blueberries. That's just not satisfying to me. If I know that I can only eat 5 blueberries, it's just not worth it for me. So that's something you have to, figure out too. And then honey, I've never been a honey eater, but I think you can get carried away with those things, just like cheese or ketchup, any of
It's
those
the
things.
same with dairy, that there's different types of dairy that are more sweet than others. Heavy cream, I
Yes.
think, is sweeter than cheese, than butter. Although for me, they're very addictive. You have a key sense of taste when you're strict carnivore, and you can taste how something is so sweet, medium sweet, not so sweet. You can also taste, do I want more? If I
Yes.
keep thinking I want more, I think, I don't like, for example, bacon. I can eat lots of bacon and not stop. Okay. Butter. I can eat lots of butter and not stop. Heavy cream. I can drink it from the thing.
Yuck.
So all these things I know, got to stay away from it, because I know it's carnivore approved. But even me, and I'm sure that with you as well, that you would start to gain weight if you have too much of these things.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Why is no one talking about the boredom factor? I don't care how good you feel, surely you get bored of eating the same thing day in, day out. My husband and my kids, they could eat the same thing day in, day out because they're autistic. Half of us think Lisa may be on the spectrum somewhere. But how do you see that girl? She seems to have a more varied diet than Lisa does. I think Lisa takes everything to an extreme.
If you're eating more than your body needs, you're going to gain weight, even on carnivore.
But it's not about the weight, is it?
So, what I try to do, because I'm the same way, first of all, I wanted to say things never tasted so good until you're on carnivore. I mean, it's so, I love it. I love the way, even salt. You never realize how good salt is, or an egg. Just that little bit of butter is just like, I said this on my channel one time and everyone laughed, but when my mom, because my husband cooks with either olive oil or avocado oil, usually olive oil. My mom cooks with the butter, and sometimes her steaks will taste like cake almost because it reminds me of like a pound cake, something that you taste a lot of the butter. My taste is so keen now that I can really point out every little ingredient, garlic or pepper, an egg tastes so good and you don't need as much. Like you can taste the cheese so much that you don't even need as much of it. So yeah, I love that about carnivore. And you do have to really just, I try to get less and just go down and down and down to the least amount that I need for it to taste really good. And I try to take my time. Like if I have bacon in front of me, I could just eat almost like a whole piece at one time, but I'll try to eat one bite, put it down. I used to have a little bit of a hang up if I.
Do you eat it with your fingers? Don't you use a knife and fork like a normal person? And you cut it up and you eat it in little bit.
Thought, especially when I started intermittent fasting, I would think, well, it's going to be a long time until I eat again. So I better eat a lot right now to last me. And I realized that's not the way to think about it. I try to think about it more like you do, whereas, okay, if I get hungry between lunch and dinner, I will eat something like a boiled egg or half a piece of cheese. Or at the worst, this is my worst snack. And I don't like, I just told John the other day, I don't like eating these when I'm really hungry, but pork rinds. And you have to pay attention to the ones that you get. Because they will sneak other maltodextrin and all that stuff in there. You have to get the ones that are literally just pork rinds and salt, I think. So that's what I do. It's all kind of you're self parenting in a way to keep yourself from sabotaging yourself. You don't want that little bit of time to sabotage the rest of your day or how good you feel. So that's what I do is I try to eat less and just tell myself if I need a snack, I will. In 90% of the time, I don't.
What is the last tip for us to break? Well, not us, people watching. We don't need to lose weight. What is the last tip for people watching
We don't need to lose weight.
to break a weight loss goal?
I think we've touched on this already, but the protein or keto bars or the keto bread, because I do think a lot of people like will do ketovore or keto, and they want to be mostly carnivore, but they're giving themselves a little, which if I could, I would do keto. If I could tolerate vegetables, I think keto is a really good way to go. I think that you can get so much variety and fit right in with everyone. Carnivore is a little fringe still. People don't understand it. They look at you like you're crazy.
Weird.
But I see like all the keto breads and the keto cookies and the fat bombs, people thinking they need a fat bomb, in a package. And it's only natural that all of these companies are going to market to low carb and keto. And I think it's just easy to see like one slice of bread with your carnivore breakfast as nothing, but I do think it can cause a stall or it can keep you from getting all of the benefits. What I would advise is for most people to go all the way down to strict carnivore and then build in one little thing at a time and just see if you gain weight, see if you're still in ketosis, see how your gut reacts, see if you still sleep as well.
See if you gain weight was the first thing you said, because it's all about the weight loss.
See if you're keeping all of those benefits. And if you are, I say do it. But if you're not getting the results that you want, I would just try to do the cleanest carnivore you can and then go from there. Another thing that I do that a lot of people, and I think that's the beauty of it, is like we've said, having your own way of doing is I don't like grass-fed beef. I tried and I tried it. I just prefer just Angus ribeyes, and I prefer the thin ones. I think that the fat tastes better in a thin sliced steak. So they even charge more for the thin ones. So a lot of times we'll get the thicker ones and cut them in half, or my mom will buy the whole ribeye and cut those thin. I think that's another good way for people that think that they can't tolerate the taste of fat. If you will do it thin instead of a big piece of fat. And then sometimes, even if there's a big piece of fat, I'll cut that up to eat with the leaner pieces of steak to kind of spread it out and make those taste better. So there's just all kinds of like little things that will help you sustain it and keep you just so satisfied. I think it's a miracle, honestly. And the way that I feel and the way that I never want to stop it. Like, I've had people ask me if you could find a medicine that would heal your gut issues and you could go back to eating vegetables and healthy carbs, oatmeal, these things, would you do it? And I just say no, because I'm just so content as I am. And I just feel good. So
Well,
that's
Lisa, I want you to make more carnival videos because I've watched every single
all.
one of your videos. Please, can you make more videos? I love watching
Thank
them.
No, no more carnivore.
you. Thank you. I feel like if I can help anyone that, especially women my age that are battling menopause, hormonal imbalance, losing, feeling like you've lost who you were and that you just have to give up and just feeling good. And I think that this is a prime opportunity because 9 times out of 10, your children are getting to an age where you can cook them something different and then cook yourself something different. You don't feel like you're missing out, or you don't feel like you're setting a bad example, which with my children, I always made it known that if I could eat vegetables or these things, I would, that I don't promote it with them. And even my husband noticed.
So you don't promote it with them, so why are you shoving it down everybody else's throat then?
Notices a difference when he eats carnivore or very low carb. He notices a difference in his hands feeling swollen the next morning. But some nights he thinks that pizza is worth it. And I love that. I love that he has educated himself enough to know, okay, if I decide that this pizza is worth it, even a thin crust, I'm probably going to wake up not feeling that good. I'm probably going to not sleep as well. When he eats carbs, he snores more, like different things because of the inflammation. It's a miracle. It's so much fun to just learn what different foods do to our bodies.
So, how can people find you, Lisa?
Okay, I have a YouTube channel, Lisa D1, and the same thing on Instagram.
You have to follow her, honestly. So much inspiration. And Lisa does beauty and makeup. So if you're a guy, you might want to watch it because you might want to learn something for your wife or your spouse. But if you're a woman, please, you have to check out Lisa's channel. I love her to
Thank
bits.
you.
But thank you, Lisa, so much. And I'm sure that so many people are going to get some inspiration and motivation to help them lose weight on Carnivore.
Thank you so much.
To help them lose weight on carnivore, which is what we said all along, wasn't it? Okay, if you got this far with me, thank you very much, and I will see you in the next one.